So welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Tottenham Hotspur, always in the news for something. I always say it's never a dull day. And yesterday, we heard the news from Florian Plettenberg, the self-proclaimed German guru of transfers, that Tottenham Hotspur are interested in Kevin Schade of Brentford. Now, we're going to get into this because what Plettenberg said was that we are one of many teams. So I don't want to be all dramatic. I don't want to be flamboyant about it and go, oh my gosh, we're signing him and what's happening? We don't know. We know that we're interested, but we know that there are many other teams interested in the Brentford player as well. Now, what do we know about Kevin Schade and what do we know about the Tottenham fan base, which is going to make people react? Now, I did a show earlier where I asked the question, Kevin Schade to Spurs, yes or no? And most people said the same thing. Good player, decent player, but does he move the needle? That is what everyone was saying. Isn't it a bit of a Spurs signing, they were saying? Isn't Kevin Schade the usual type of signing that we get where, yeah, he's okay, but does he take you from there to there? So there. Now, we're going to have a look at this throughout this video because I think it's an interesting one. And there's many different facets to this story. First and foremost, it doesn't say that Spurs are going to bid or Spurs have approached Brentford or we're talking to his agent. It just says that we are, wait for it, monitoring. We're monitoring. We're always monitoring, aren't we? So Spurs are scouting. By all due accounts, Spurs are scouting Kevin Schade of Brentford. Now, let's have a look at the obvious part of this. Kevin Schade of Brentford was signed and developed by who else but Thomas Frank. Obviously, Thomas Frank being the Spurs manager now, he would know all about Kevin Schade. So when we sit here and go, oh, well, do we know what we're getting? What type of player is he? Does he fit the system? Is he a Thomas Frank footballer? Well, we know the answer to all those questions, don't we? Because our manager has signed him before. Our manager signed him and he progressed nicely under Thomas Frank. And he's doing well at Brentford. But the question's going to be Brentford and Tottenham. The question's going to be, sure, he's done well at Brentford, but is he that needle mover for Tottenham Hotspur? Is he going to change the dynamic of the Tottenham squad, of the Tottenham left-hand side or through the middle, wherever he plays on any given day? Is he going to change that dynamic? Is he going to be so much better than what we've currently got? So let's break that down. Now, what do we know? We know that Kevin Schade, technically, he's decent. We know that he's quick. We know that he likes to drive at players. And we know that he is used to playing with Thomas Frank. Now, if we're going to look at him on the left-hand side, straight away, yes, he is better than Matisse Tell. Yes, he's better than Mikey Moore when he comes back. Yes, he's better than Wilson Odegaard. But is that enough to say, this is the guy we should sign? Is this the guy that we're looking at and going, right, all of our left-sided problems, and we do have left-sided problems. As I've said before, I don't care how many people want to talk to me about Odegaard, about Tell. These guys are not that level. Not yet, anyway. I don't think they will be, but they're not at the moment, and that I won't go into those two right now. So the question is Kevin Schade, is he at that level? Now, I'm going to go with good footballer. Probably would be a good rotational squad option. But do I think he's the guy that you bring into a Champions League team that is desperately lacking on that left-hand side and in those forward areas? Do you bring him in and is he the missing jigsaw piece? I'm going to go with no. Now, that doesn't mean I don't rate Kevin Schade, because I know what will happen. I make these videos and people go, oh, you've not seen him and you say he's no good. No, I think he's a good footballer. Now, if we had a top left-sided player, if we had a couple more top forwards in this squad, I'd probably say, I don't mind him as a rotational option. I don't mind him for a long season as a squad player. But do I see him as the guy that immediately comes in and fixes the issues that we have going forward? I don't think he does. Now, that doesn't mean that he won't. My opinion is just my opinion. That doesn't mean that I don't like him. It doesn't mean that if we signed him, I'm going to lose my mind. But what it will show to me, and sorry, as the dog has just decided to play with a squeaky toy, what it does show to me immediately would be, is that the level of ambition? Is that what we're expecting? Because lots of people now are going, okay, you've pumped money in, Enoch, you've pumped money into the club, and you've tried to get Savio, and you're not selling the club. So surely the ambition that you want to win things, you told us this via Vinay, you told us this, you want to win things. Are these the types of players that you bring in that take you from there to there? As I've said, I don't think so. But I'm keen to hear your thoughts. Have you seen him? What did you think of him when you saw him? We all know what Brentford are about. We know how they played under Thomas Frank. Kind of doing the same thing under Keith Andrews. We know that they can look very dangerous on the counter-attack. We know that Schade grabbed, I think it was 11 goals last year, something like that. So we know he's a decent footballer. But what do you make of him? What do you think of him? Does he fit in at Spurs? Is he the level needed? Do we need a little bit more? Now, here's the other side of it. The Thomas Frank effect. Because I trust Thomas Frank. I'm getting a lot of stick for it. I don't know why. He's sitting third. He's lost one game in 11. But I trust Thomas Frank. So as a football fan, do I have a duty to turn around and go, right, well, this is the manager I like. This is the manager I trust. This is the coach I like and the coach I trust. If he wants him, I want him. Now, I've never really been one that subscribes to that way of thinking. Oh, if he likes him, I like him. No, not as such. But if Thomas Frank wants him, if he thinks he can develop him, who am I and who are you to say no? Is it going to be the big glamorous signing that we want? No. Does it mean that somebody else might also come in at the same time? Maybe, maybe not. So I think this is an interesting one because I trust Frank. I trust his ability to coach and develop players. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that every single player has got this really high ceiling, no pun intended, as I point to the ceiling. It doesn't mean everybody's got that. I keep hearing that all the time, by the way. Oh, this is a coach. You said he's a coach. He's going to coach every player better. Gray's going to be world-class. Odegaard, Vuskovic. Whoa, 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 whoa. If that was the case, then every single player Pep Guardiola's had should be world-class, and that's just not the case. That's not quite how coaching works. But we digress. So Kevin Schade is a very interesting one. Again, Brentford don't really need money. So how much would he cost? And from what Florian Plettenberg said, it looked like that was more of a summer of 2026 signing rather than a January signing. And of course, all the Spurs fans, we all are, aren't we? All eyes are looking to January in the transfer window. What's going to happen? Who are we going to buy? Is it going to be, and you know what I'm going to say, is it going to be Semenyo? Because at Spurs, our fan base, we concentrate on one player at a time, don't we? It was all Eze. That's all it was. We couldn't see past that. Now it's Semenyo. But as always, are these players available? Do their clubs need to sell them? Do they need to sell them in January? What are Bournemouth doing in January? For example, if Bournemouth are sitting in the top 4, 5, 6 in January, closing in on a European place with half a season to go, I can't imagine they're going to turn around and go, yeah, go on then, we'll sell you our main man. I just can't see it at all. Doesn't mean it won't happen. I just can't see it myself. Now, maybe if you stick down a massive bid, 80, 90, 100 million, who knows? But bearing in mind, most of the Spurs fan base were coming into my chat at the beginning of the summer when we were told we might have to pay 70 million to get Semenyo. And they were going, no, he's not worth that. 7 Premier League games later, suddenly Semenyo is the saviour. Now, I really like Semenyo, by the way, so I'm not having a go. But I do find it funny how quickly everybody changes their opinion over 5, 10, 15 games. So anyway, Kevin Schade, let me know your thoughts. Does he move the needle for Tottenham? Is he what we need? Would you like to see him? What are his qualities? What don't you like about him? What do you like about him? Let me know. Enjoy your Saturday night. Just a few thoughts from me tonight. Apologies. The international window is a really, really boring time, isn't it? Much love. Take care. And as always, come on, you Spurs.